This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
There is no question that this settlement does not solve the entire issue with respect to social media.
When the United States of America asked too much, we chose Canada.
50% is huge. It's massive for the price of a vehicle.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Mega money from Meta. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. While they admitted no wrongdoing, social media giant Meta has agreed to pay out a whopping $17 billion to states that teamed up to sue them over allegations their product was harmful to kids due to addictive algorithms.
The landmark settlement cuts short a federal trial in California over claims made by 29 states that Meta's Facebook and Instagram platforms were designed to addict children, among other claims. The settlement for Meta to pay up to $17 billion also includes an agreement to make major changes to its products.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze on one of those changes.
The option for some users under 18 to have a non-personalized feed, that is significant because that gets at algorithmic changes.
North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson says it's the most accountability that social media has ever faced, but that more is called for.
There is no question that this settlement does not solve the entire issue with respect to social media because it does not include YouTube. It does not include Snap. It does not include TikTok.
New York State's max payout is $1.1 billion. Pennsylvania's just over $700 million. Meantime, Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday is suing another social media platform. His lawsuit alleges Snapchat downplayed the prevalence of adult content and said its disappearing posts didn't really disappear.
Try as Snapchat might to make users believe that gone means gone, we all know that once something is sent or posted on the internet, it is never truly gone. But do our kids know that? And if they do, can they fully grasp the ramifications of that?
Sunday also says Snapchat makes it easier for adult predators to target children. His office is fresh off of filing a similar lawsuit against TikTok earlier this month. Another win for President Trump on the topic of mail-in voting regulations nationwide. A federal judge following suit with the U.S. Supreme Court by lifting a nationwide block on Trump's executive order targeting mail-in voting. The Justice Department asked the judge in Boston to drop her injunction after the High Court lifted blocks imposed by lower courts earlier this week. Today, the federal judge agreed with the DOJ, though more challenges are likely forthcoming. The order directs agencies to compile a list of confirmed U.S. citizens eligible to vote in each state. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro quick to react to the rulings. Speaking at Lincoln Financial Field today, the Democrat told the Philadelphia Inquirer the bottom line is that the law says you can vote by mail.
No matter how many times the president wants to try and undermine people's right to vote in this Commonwealth, he needs to know that he will be met with a swift rebuke from me.
Trump says he has no issue with mail-in voting in general, but does want a registry created of Americans that can legally vote that way to reduce election fraud. Canada firing back at tariffs leveled by Trump with billions of tariffs of their own on U.S. products. Alice Barr reports the trade war with Canada is going to be felt by you.
With the midterms now just 10 weeks away, the cost of living remains the central issue for voters, and the escalating trade war with Canada could push prices even higher in key states that rely on Canadian trade.
Canada's Minister of National Revenues.
When the United States of America asked too much and offered too little, we made a choice. We chose Canada.
Reaction from Western New York to the Canadian trade kerfuffle, especially when it comes to the cost of cars and car parts.
50% is huge. It's massive for the price of a vehicle.
Art Wheaton is the Labor Studies Director at the Cornell IRL Labor School at the Buffalo State campus, telling WGRZ anyone buying a car in New York or Pennsylvania is going to feel it.
We don't know what's going to happen, and that really makes it hard to plan. And having a 50% difference in the price of that tariff, so instead of being a $60,000 F-150, it becomes a $90,000 F-150.
Wheaton says the tariffs on car parts don't kick in until January, so there is still plenty of time for Canada and the U.S. to try to work things out. As part of the trade squabble, Trump is also proposing Lake Ontario be renamed Lake America. Monroe County, New York, sits on the southern shore of Lake Ontario, and some folks there they aren't all impressed with the idea.
Way more going on in the world than a name change. Seriously? That's what we're focusing on? It's so random.
The name Ontario is a Native American name for the lake that was here long before the province of Ontario was named.
Last year, you might recall, Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories and highlights from today's edition of Real Answers. Coming up after weather with Kevin.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. A pleasant evening is ahead, but changes are coming in our weather. The cold front will arrive tomorrow, preceded by a couple of showers and thunderstorms. Let's keep an eye on the sky in the afternoon, especially on the Interstate 81 corridor from central New York into central and eastern Pennsylvania. Thunderstorms could be rather feisty tomorrow afternoon and evening. But skies clear in time for, looks like, some nice weather for the upcoming weekend. So the call for tonight, a pleasant evening. You'll see moonlight. The clouds will gather, low temps, mid-50s to mid-60s. Tomorrow will turn mostly cloudy, more humid, couple showers and thunderstorms in the area. And again, any thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon across south central New York, central and northeast Pennsylvania could be strong. High temps, mid-70s to mid-80s. Friday, cooler, less humid, sun and clouds, a spot shower, and high temperatures in the 70s to near 80.
Thanks, Kevin. Now checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. There's a measure in the works that would allow the state of Pennsylvania to come into public schools and meet with your kids about gender identity. Here's Family Life's Sarah Harnish.
New rules proposed by the Shapiro administration would grant sweeping powers to the state health department. According to the Pennsylvania Family Institute, these powers would give state officials permission to meet privately with students in school on a range of issues from gender identity to abortion to sexually transmitted diseases. Also, healthcare providers would be required to report your vaccination status to a centralized statewide government database. Sarah Harnish, Family Life News.
All right, thank you very much, Sarah. The Pennsylvania measles outbreak has turned deadly.
I'm here at Women and Babies Hospital in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where health officials yesterday announced the first 2 measles-associated deaths in this state in 35 years, the first 2 in this country this year alone. Now, this outbreak has stretched well beyond this community. In fact, nationwide, there's been more than 2,700 confirmed measles cases in this country. What most of them have in common is that they were all unvaccinated.
That's Erica Edwards. The FBI in Rochester, New York, Tuesday, training churches on what to do in the event of an emergency. FBI Special Agent in Charge, Alan David.
If you look at the stats, it would appear as though there have been an increase in threats nationwide, probably globally. The reality is those types of events are probably going to continue to occur.
He tells WHAM they want churches to keep safe and be prepared through solid training.
What we can do is be hard targets. We can try to make it difficult for an active shooter or for an aggressor to come in and attack a place like this where we are today and a congregation.
Tuesday's program included presentations from the cybersecurity team, the Infrastructure Security Agency, and the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Well, you've no doubt heard about the passing of country music legend Dolly Parton. Charity groups in northeastern Pennsylvania are feeling the loss of the singer who was also a noted philanthropist.
Her shared legacy of giving children books a month and really what United Way aligns with.
That's Sue Youts with the United Way of Lackawanna, Wayne, and Pike counties, who tells WNEP they've been part of Dolly's Imaginary Library program since 2022. Dolly's organization has sent over 110,000 books to kids in Lackawanna County alone, with 3,000 children currently enrolled to receive a book every single month.
It's just incredible what she's done, and we're really proud to carry on that legacy and passion.
Dolly's Imagination Library has gifted over 300 million books globally to children from birth to age 5. Up next, highlights from today's edition of Real Answers. The topic, seeking out wise biblical counsel and discerning who we should or shouldn't be getting counsel from. Licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson knows all about the value of wise counsel, even as a professional.
There are times that I'll get clients come in and I'm just really not entirely sure what to do about a particular situation. So I have got professionally, as well as in my private personal life, folks that at times I turn to and ask questions, sometimes as basic as, what do I do? So, I mean, and that's just, it is so important because, and especially in today's day and age, Mark, where there's just so many issues that are changing so rapidly that we need to be on our game on this one.
Absolutely. some of the wisest counsel is simply saying, sometimes I don't know. Scripture is full of advice, especially if you go to Proverbs. It's like all about this. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. But getting to where the good advice is can be pretty challenging. You almost need some, like you said, some counsel to discern what isn't good counsel. We go to the biblical story of Job and the good and really bad advice he got from his friends, no matter how well-intentioned, even his wife. Classic example of how that can go, and now we've got AI bots dishing out advice for us.
That's true. And the bigger question is, how then do I choose my personal advisors? What is the way that I can best choose a group of folks to help just in my own life? And I would say, of course, the first thing is, do they have a personal and genuine relationship with the Lord? Do they understand why it's so important themselves to be part of a personal network? Because there is times also that they are going to ask you. They might come to you. And so remember, this is a two-way street. This is not just, all right, I need folks to tell me how to live my life. These are folks where at times they should also be willing to ask you. And so making sure that they have that personal relationship with the Lord. And quite honestly, I'm just going to say this. If they just go to church once in a while, like, oh, yeah, I grew up in America, I'm a Christian, right? No. That you want to see evidence that they are also believers and that they have a vested interest in growing in their faith and helping others grow in their faith too. So definitely you want them to meet that criteria. And then, of course, there's other things you can look for too. Do they share other interests? Is it easy to converse with them? That type of thing. So really what we're kind of talking about here too is how to make friends. And so everybody that comes into my office as a client, one of the first things I do in the very first session is assess who is in that all-important support system. How many times have folks heard me say that since I've been doing this segment? And it's probably almost every week because it's so important that folks do this. But again, do they have a personal relationship with the Lord? Do they see the value in being able to move beyond the superficial in conversations and say, hey, look, this is a tough life we're living. I mean, none of us have done this before. We're all on our first round on living life here on earth, and the next round is in heaven. So you're a believer, and it's going to be a whole lot easier there. And so really, again, it's important to look for folks that have a personal relationship with the Lord that's vibrant and genuine, and they're also that you really connect with, because there are some folks that you just might not actually connect with, even if they do have a personal relationship with the Lord. So those are two really important issues. And then, of course, we can also talk about how do you look for guidance in other folks outside your personal realm. In other words, where are you getting your information from? I mean, that one is also another important question.
I saw this written recently. I thought it was pretty good. Sincerity is not a substitute for truth. Advice given with good intentions can still be scripturally or just situationally incorrect.
It can. And we have to just understand and make sure that something that sounds good really truly is lining up with scripture, and making sure that we're applying things in the correct context and not taking scripture out of context. One thing too, Mark, that I really caution people against is that they're not too quick to just throw, like you'll be talking to somebody, they'll hear something that you've answered before, and then without even stopping to completely listen to what they're saying, you throw out some scripture at them. And even if it's an accurate application of the scripture, it can come across as being somewhat superficial, or you're not really stopping to listen to the other person. It can come across as very flippant. So we want to make sure that when we are giving people encouragement and using quotes, even if they're not scripture, even if they're completely true, but not necessarily scripture, that we're taking the time to really stop and listen and consider what the person's saying to us and asking us before we give a very fast answer that can really come across as not really truly caring.
Highlights from today's Real Answers. You can hear the entire feature and all of our Family Life original news features at Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
In Luke 12, Jesus was asked to settle a family inheritance dispute, but instead of focusing first on the asset, he focused on the heart. Hi, I'm Rob West with another Faith and Finance Minute. That's important when passing down a family home. A house can be a tremendous blessing, but without wisdom, it can also create confusion, conflict, and financial strain. Proverbs 20:21 says, an inheritance gained hastily in the beginning will not be blessed in the end. So don't only think about the deeds, taxes, and trusts. Think about communication, preparation, and stewardship. Do your children know your intentions? Do they understand the cost of keeping the home? Are they prepared to receive it wisely? A good estate plan transfers wealth, but faithful stewardship also transfers wisdom. Discover the best Christian financial articles, podcasts, and videos by visiting our website, faithfi.com, or by downloading FaithFi, Faith and Finance from your app store.
Thank you, sir. Finally at 5.
My name's Mater. Mater? Yeah, like Mater.
Yeah, Pixar's Tow Mater would have been right at home today in Buñol, Spain, home of the annual La Tomatina food fight. This is no minor cafeteria confrontation. Thousands from around Spain and across the globe packed the streets there to throw 120 tons of overripe tomatoes at each other. Tomato juice literally flows down the streets. Hopefully all those folks today are having as much fun as these folks did last year.
I'm here to celebrate the La Tomatina Festival. It's always been a dream. It's been a blast. We all loved it.
It is something different. It's amazing.
A fantastic time, yeah, absolutely great. And everyone's so welcoming. The town's really beautiful. Everyone does such a great job, and it's such great fun.
Oh, yeah, such great fun, except if you're on the cleanup crew. And that's the world we live in for Wednesday, August 26, 2026. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.